Hey everyone, Chris with KnowYourBest.com here. Do you want to achieve something great with your life? Is there something missing from your world right now that must be there? What type of legacy would you like to leave long after you're gone? That just got real, so let's dial it back a little bit. What would just make you as happy and fulfilled as you can imagine, right? How would you want to spend your days if you were truly free? So I'd like to paint this vivid picture for myself when I write down my goals. Of course, it takes a lot of desire and motivation to achieve some of your biggest goals, and the lack thereof is one reason why less than 10% of people meet their New Year's resolutions. But it takes more than that. It takes the 7 keys that we'll talk about right now. First is to recognize the resistance. First off, kudos to anyone that earnestly attempts a goal. Many people don't set goals for themselves at all because they're afraid of failure, or they've convinced themselves they're perfectly happy as is. The latter is probably the biggest reason why people's dreams wither and their lives just remain stagnant. It's the dead end cul-de-sac at the intersection of fine and good enough. Understandably, they would avoid a possible letdown because most people have a long past of not getting what they want. Defeated and discouraged, they fall into this fixed mindset trap where positive change and improvement is considered futile. They are taught through hardship that what they desire and the resources to get it are scarce. And news and social media don't help either. They're too busy profiting off this cycle of pessimism, negativity, and envy. And to make matters worse, we live in a culture that expects everything to be so quick and easy. And that's why our society loves diet pills, Botox, payday loans, and delivery apps. One thing you need to do is to get your mind right. So how do you encounter all this resistance, right? Start by crushing your toxic self-limiting beliefs, and I'll put a link in the description that talks about how to do that. But you can say to yourself, I can't achieve X goal because of Y. Write down those doubts. I'm not smart enough, rich enough, connected enough. Then write down a counterexample for each negative belief. Go back to past victories and relive your success. Think about what you did right and how you can apply those lessons in the future. Conversely, look at situations where what you wanted didn't happen and learn from that experience. Write it down, think about what could have happened differently, but don't dwell on it. Just resolve to adjust your behavior. Another great thing to do is to make gratitude a daily practice. Gratefulness provides a perspective that you have something to gain from every situation, good or bad. Have compassion for yourself and realize that attempting something new and difficult is admirable and it builds your character. Let go of perfectionism and strive to just act and accept what happens. This always triumphs in action. Another one is proper goal setting. So let's say a person sets a goal and they don't achieve it. The issue tends to be that the goal wasn't set properly. Most people focus on outward goals like earning more money or losing weight. The problem is that they can't answer why the goal is important to them personally. Do they want to lose weight because they'll be healthier and thus more active with their kids or their grandkids? Or is it because society deems a slim waist important? Do they want to make more money so that they can achieve financial freedom, so that they can travel and only do work that's meaningful? Or is it because they think wealth is going to convey some sort of importance? The point is that whatever your goals are, they must be tied to a deep emotional motivator that's unique to you. And second, our goals have to be specific so that we can quantify them and measure progress. And this is the first and the most important element of a proper goal. And I'll explain those elements in depth here. Too long didn't read. Use SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based. It's a popular mnemonic that most people are familiar with. Set deadlines for all your goals in 5-year, 1 year, and 3-month intervals. Pick just a few goals, right? I assume you have a lot of responsibilities, a day job, a family maybe. So narrow your focus so you don't get sidetracked. And then focus on the 20%. You might have heard of the Pareto Principle, which is an observation that around 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. When applied to your goals, ask yourself, which 20% of the activities will generate 80% of the results? As Tim Ferriss asks in Tribe of Mentors, what would it look like if this goal were easy? For weight loss, 20% would be probably cutting sugar and snacks. In a sales or a job search, it's finding leads, right? New opportunities, new postings. For any goal, start by framing the problem with a few focus questions like which activity will move the needle the most? Which is a waste of energy? Where does the greatest long-term effects come from? Once you begin the action, perform those daily, weekly, and quarterly progress reviews. Determine if you need to adjust your approach, reset your expectations, or change the goals altogether. Another tip is to turn goals into habits. I talk about this a lot in my blog. Let's say you've narrowed down your projects and critical actions you have to take. Write down the 5 things you need to accomplish today at all costs. And most of those will be recurring in nature, and thus those can become habits. An aspiring novelist might make it a habit to write 300 words per day. A developer might write some set line of codes each day. Someone trying to lose weight may meal prep twice a week or work out for 30 minutes a day. Someone looking for a relationship or to make friends might go to a social event once a week, join a club, or spend an hour on a dating app. Build these habits into your daily schedule and then block out that time. Treat it as sacred and let nothing get in the way of it. It takes about 66 days on average to form a habit. You'll put yourself on probation until then. You'll audit your weeks, hold yourself accountable to that habit. You'll build in some rewards, right? Encourage yourself. Maybe you treat yourself to a latte after finishing a chapter, or you dine out after a week of strict dieting. Find whatever your carrot is, even if it's eating anything but a disgusting carrot, and use these rewards to link progress with pleasure in your mind. Another principle is that action beats perfection. So let's talk about a huge pitfall that nearly everyone is a victim to at some point, and pardon the rant here. All the advice you receive, every article you read and learn from is useless without action. If you've been reading self-help for a while, maybe you even attended a seminar or two, you've learned what you need to know. The class is dismissed. You don't need to become a self-improvement hobbyist. Don't go for your personal development PhD. There won't be a thesis paper. If you watch the how-to video on YouTube, you probably know enough. So instead of procrastinating on your life goals until you have some magical perfect plan, get started immediately. Don't give yourself time to hesitate, period. Follow Mel Robbins' 5-second rule and ride the wave of excitement and intention. Do something within 5 seconds or less. Do the thing you need to do long before the fear creeps in. When you're attempting something new and scary, like getting up to speak or asking someone out, take time out of the equation. Don't overthink it. Follow like Nike's slogan and just do that shit. I heard it put best recently. Never leave the scene of clarity without taking decisive action. Another principle is to build your team. So one of the biggest myths of self-improvement is that these successful geniuses did it all themselves. Movies like to glamorize this idea of some lone wolf that goes from rags to riches, by their bootstraps. Or the motivational YouTube videos that show a guy in a dark room, sitting in a chair, contemplating life by himself. Look, if your environment is all negative, focusing on yourself, it might be a good start, but no one succeeds alone. Every successful person has people that have helped them along the way. So build a team around you that can support you and uplift you. There are many groups out there for this purpose: online communities, exercise groups, masterminds, coaching, mentoring circles, accountability groups, even close friendships. If there was one hidden secret to success, which would be a great clickbait title for my next YouTube video, this is it. These groups can dramatically speed up your progress. In the journey, it's just more fun when you take it together. So that's the list. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the video. Please let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe or go to knowyourbest.com to get great self-improvement tips each week. Thanks a lot.